Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I send this message or make this message with an attempt to draw awareness. I'm not sure if many of you know, but Salisbury University, in particular, the African American community of Salisbury University students, have recently um, come under a situation where they are facing um, racist remarks via vandalism, very derogatory um, things have been written in regards again to the African American community that goes to school at Salisbury University. Normally, I'm not someone to necessarily speak out on things because I feel like, a lot of times things are emotional response. But my best way to address this is, number one, I have a child that goes to the school. So it's very concerning for me. Um, Probably maybe a week or so ago, he brought to my attention a video that was essentially sent by a fellow um, classmate that came upon, the vandalism. And I'm sure if you were to go, I'm not going to show it, but I'm sure if you were to go online, take a look at it, you would actually see exactly how derogatory the vandalism was in regards to African Americans, um, and in particular the students there. There's several concerns that you can have as a student, um, several concerns you can have as a parent. And one of the major concerns, obviously, is safety. Um, Safety, because I believe there was something in regards to some type of a violence that was going to take place or that was threatened. Um, it's very disheartening when you hear stuff like that because you really can't take anything for granted in today's world with the temperature of our country, the racial temperature of our country now. Um, you're liable to see anybody take action because they feel like it could be justified on a higher level. Um, but I think another thing that's, you know, let's move past safety for a second, or let's dig deeper into safety. Um, Apparently, there's no protocol. Um, you know, I get phone calls and everything else in regards to elementary school. I have two daughters in elementary school. Any active shooter type of situations, those things are, we're made aware of that as parents, that they have that and that they're practicing it. Um, you don't have that in place at Salisbury. My son mentioned cameras. They don't have cameras in the stairwells, and that's when it was done. That's the way it was done. I mean, like anybody who's gonna vandalize, they're not gonna do it where they know there's some type of um, surveillance. So you go in the stairwell. So I mean, it was scoped out. It was definitely not only planned, but it was executed in a manner in which they could not get caught. Um, Let me just say this: Salisbury University is not cheap. Higher education at any level is not cheap, but it's not cheap there, whether you're in state or out of state. Um, and you think about it in today's world, there's not too much that should not be, um, you know, documented or should have surveillance. Just alone where I work at, um, the floors. I work in a condominium, and the floors themselves. We recently have. It was a decision to be made by the building to invest in surveillance on every floor. And again, when you start talking about the safety of someone and areas where things could be done, um, you think something like that would be of importance. Um, there is no surveillance. And I would be very interested to see how moving forward they would like to go, Salisbury University would like to move forward with doing something about that. Not just for the sake of this incident here, but, how do you maintain and how do you upkeep the dorms? How do you maintain that stuff? Do you want to have to worry about painting, um, you know, more often what you need to because you can never find a violator? One of the reasons why where I work, why we even got the cameras was because um, of damage that was done to carpets. So as a result, um, before any carpet was replaced, the priority was to put cameras in there on every floor so that if it was to happen again, you could take some form of action. I say all that to tie it in to say, lastly, um, I see that there's a cash reward offered for tips in Salisbury University vandalism. Um, I have not seen anything publicly that was done to address this situation as a whole, because it's not something I believe can be taken lightly um, at all. So I believe the president, his name is Charles White, Wight. I think whether it's him or whoever handles PR for Salisbury University, someone should speak out. Shouldn't have to hear from Salisbury University police about actions that are being taken. So I really strongly feel like something should be said. It should be addressed in an open forum, not that you have to hear about it or get updates from the news or from the police. I just feel like that's a very responsible action to take. And at this point so far, I have not seen any statements made by Salisbury University, any of the staff, the deans, the presidents, anybody. So there's obviously a call for action that's being made, and it should not just be made by African American students. It should be made by the parents. It should be made by the Salisbury community. What we don't realize is when something impacts one, it really impacts all of us. The danger of someone potentially with a gun on a campus, as we've seen throughout the course of the last decade, the damage that can do, it not only can impact the university, but those in the surrounding area. So I don't know if anybody else is with me or would agree, but I personally, as a parent, um, as an African American father, um, and an African American that represents the community, would love to see um, the steps that Salisbury University will take. Number one, to address it openly, okay, but secondly, um, in a way to address moving forward what should be done. I think they, in their best interest, they would want to address it because it could severely impact enrollment in coming years. It could severely impact your sports teams. It could severely impact um, alumni affiliations. It could severely impact the Salisbury University community as a whole. So those who agree, hey, share this video, um, get it out, let it be known that it's known about, and there is a call for action that should be made, that is made on behalf of not only, again, the Salisbury University community, Salisbury University students, but also the Salisbury University parents. Just my thoughts on it.